Most elevators have a surveillance camera that records everything 24 hours a day. Some of these cameras have captured truly shocking scenes, from a drunken couple relieving themselves inside an elevator to an impressive situation recorded in an elevator in Las Vegas involving a man and a woman. It's situations like these that you will see here today. The residents of a building were met in the morning with a strong odor in the area outside the elevator, where someone had apparently urinated. Quickly, the building management was informed, and upon checking the security camera footage, they were surprised by what they discovered. The footage showed a seemingly drunk couple arriving at the building. Everything seemed normal until, unexpectedly, the woman lowers the bottom part of her clothing and urinates right there inside the elevator, as if it were a bathroom. Soon after, the man, also intoxicated, did the same, leaving the elevator completely soaked. The couple was identified as residents of the building who were returning from a party. When questioned, they claimed not to remember the incident. They were fined and had to bear the costs of a specialized cleaning company to sanitize and decontaminate the elevator. A man was caught sexually harassing a woman inside an elevator in Fortaleza, Ceará, Brazil, in a scene that generated outrage throughout the country after being widely reported by news broadcasts and online portals. Security camera footage shows the moment when the man gropes the victim's buttocks. He was a freelance investment agent for M7, a company based in Ceará, Brazil, with an office in the building where the incident occurred. The victim, a nutritionist who worked in an office in the same building, stated that she never imagined going through such a situation. The case was reported by the victim to the police as sexual harassment and gained enormous online repercussion after the release of the images. The consequences for the harasser were severe. The man was dismissed from his job. M7, in an official statement, confirmed that he was immediately and permanently removed and emphasized that the company's partners and managers repudiate any act of violence, abuse, or harassment. In addition to the dismissal, the aggressor faces a legal process, which is ongoing, and more recently, he became a defendant in another sexual harassment accusation. The camera of a residential building in China captured the exact moment when a child almost caused a tragedy in the elevator. In the footage, it's possible to see the child inside the elevator holding the door open button, apparently waiting for his parents. The boy was also placing the handle of an umbrella on the door sensor, trying to prevent it from closing. However, there seems to have been a malfunction in the elevator, which closed the door, trapping the umbrella's handle. Then, the elevator began to move, resulting in a panic scene. Desperate, the boy tries to open the door but cannot. The trapped umbrella caused the elevator to stall, leaving the child even more distressed. Moments later, building staff went up to the 25th floor to rescue the boy. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the incident left a significant expense for the parents, who had to pay for the elevator repair. In the United States, a woman was attacked by a man who followed her into an elevator. The victim, who chose not to reveal her identity, was at a storage facility where she kept personal items. Upon leaving her unit and heading to the elevator, security cameras recorded two men exiting the elevator as the woman entered. One of the men, realizing she was alone, left his friend and quickly re-entered the elevator before the door closed. It was at that moment that the attack happened. The man tried to remove the woman's sports top. When the elevator door opened, the woman, gathering courage, grabbed pepper spray and chased after the aggressor. The man fled after the attack, but the police were called. With the cooperation of the facility, in addition to access to the security camera footage, they provided the information of the storage unit the men had rented, facilitating the identification of the suspect, who was eventually arrested. A date between a man and a woman who met through the dating app Tinder ended in tragedy. Grace Mullane, a British woman who was traveling around the world, was in New Zealand when she decided to download the Tinder app to meet someone she could connect with and enjoy her stay in the country. She ended up meeting Jesse Shane Kempson, a 28-year-old man. The two started chatting through the app and scheduled a date, which happened one day before Grace's 23rd birthday. They went out, had fun, drank, and later went to the hotel where Jesse lived. There, the two had intimate moments, but Jesse, in a brutal act, took Grace's life. After the crime, he placed her body in suitcases and was caught by elevator cameras while carrying them out of the hotel. The The last time Grace was seen alive was in the elevator camera footage. Soon after, cameras showed Jesse leaving the hotel with heavy suitcases. He took the body to the Waitakere Ranges, where he disposed of it. Without news of their daughter, Grace's parents contacted the authorities, who initiated an investigation. During the investigations, they discovered that Jesse was responsible for the crime and uncovered a web of lies involving his life. Jesse was a compulsive liar, telling various women that he knew celebrities and to others that he had cancer, using these lies to manipulate them. The investigations also revealed searches made by Jesse about large bags and whether birds ate meat. Jesse Shane Kempson was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment in New Zealand. In 2013, the surveillance camera of a residential building almost recorded a tragedy involving a dog. In the video, it's possible to see a lady, apparently a resident of the building, returning from a walk with her dog. She calls the elevator and at that moment takes her cell phone out of her pocket, becoming absorbed in the screen. When the elevator arrives, she enters, but the dog, attached by the leash, remains outside. Distracted, the woman presses the button and the doors close. The elevator begins to ascend, pulling the dog by the leash. At that moment, a man appears carrying a carton of eggs, notices what is happening, and quickly tries to help the animal. The dog being pulled by the elevator was in danger, but the man, without hesitation, tried to release the leash, even as the eggs fell and broke on the floor. Fortunately, the leash gave way, and the dog was saved. Thanks to the man's quick action, the little animal was rescued in time. If it had remained trapped, it could have been strangled. The man lost only a carton of eggs, but the life of a living being is worth much more than 30 eggs. In India, the police were called to restrain a woman who was causing a commotion in a hotel. The beginning of the confusion is not entirely clear, but apparently the woman was being inconvenient by trying to go up to the hotel room while she seemed to have unresolved issues with the establishment. The employee then prevented her from going up, and the woman refused to leave the elevator. Faced with this situation, the employee was forced to call the police. Even with the arrival of the police and requests for her to leave, the woman refused. In a possible outburst, after several minutes of gestures and attempts to persuade her by the officers, she, in protest, took off her clothes, remaining only in her underwear. According to reports, the woman was a model who was traveling for work. After going out and consuming some drinks, she became intoxicated, resulting in the behavior that caused all the commotion. In the end, the police had to forcibly remove her from the elevator. The security camera of an elevator in Las Vegas captured a shocking and somewhat mysterious scene. In the footage, we can see a bald man entering the elevator accompanied by a woman who was apparently there to provide services for him. The timestamp on the footage marked 1:42 in the morning when both entered the elevator, heading up to the man's room. The woman seemed to tease him, insinuating that there was something more between them. The man, embarrassed, even pointed to the camera on the elevator ceiling, as if concerned about being monitored. Then, he carries her out of the elevator and they both proceed to the apartment. However, 3 hours later, the same camera records the woman leaving in a strange manner. She appears visibly uncomfortable, holding her stomach as if she was in pain or had gone through something in the apartment. This generated speculation on the internet, where many claimed that she might have been a victim of assault. In the video, it's possible to see the woman pressing the elevator button and heading to the building's garage. She apparently gets in her car and leaves, without making any complaint or calling the police. The situation is intriguing and bizarre. A woman appeared on the elevator security camera as she was carrying packs of water bottles inside. However, what was about to happen, no one could have imagined, especially since her actions were completely unexpected. At a certain moment, while she was still transporting some packs into the elevator, it closed with her inside and began to ascend. Upon realizing that the elevator had closed unexpectedly, she showed a certain desperation and wanted to get out somehow. To do this, she began to force the elevator door with all her might, pulling it back, until for safety reasons, the elevator stopped. Even after it stopped, she continued forcing and pulling the door until she finally managed to open it and was faced with a wall, since the elevator was stopped between floors in the middle of the building. As if her situation couldn't get worse, she still tried to get out of the elevator in that situation, becoming completely trapped between the elevator and the wall since the space was very narrow. It is not known what exactly motivated her actions, but most likely panic combined with lack of knowledge greatly contributed to her behavior. With even minimal knowledge, she would know not to try to open the elevator door while it is moving. Despite the scare and being trapped, she was rescued by firefighters who had been called. After hours trying to find a way to rescue the woman, they finally succeeded, and she was okay. Being lucky can sometimes be very good, as in the case of this woman who narrowly avoided a tragic accident when she was exiting an elevator. Security cameras show the woman inside the elevator, which already seems to have some problem with the air conditioning. After all, the woman was fanning herself and appeared to be feeling hot inside it. The elevator then reaches the floor where the woman would get off. She approaches the door, and at the moment of exiting, it simply starts to ascend with the door still open due to a major malfunction. By great luck, the woman manages to get out just in time, narrowly avoiding injury. If she had taken a few seconds longer to exit, she could have either fallen down the elevator shaft from a great height or even been crushed. The woman even needed to jump to get out since the elevator was already ascending again as she was exiting. As soon as she narrowly escaped, she immediately went to the building management, reported what had happened, and they immediately blocked the elevator so that no one else would use it. A woman was caught by the security cameras of an elevator and also of the building she was in at the moment when she tried to do something she shouldn't have and caused great destruction in the place. Footage from the cameras shows her placing some sort of plate in the elevator door, with half inside and half outside. Her apparent intention was to hold the elevator door open so she could bring in more items shortly after. However, the elevator door does not stay open, closes with the plate in the door, and begins to ascend. As a result, the plate that was half outside and half inside the elevator gets pressed against the building wall, causing great destruction. In the footage from the building's corridor camera, one can see that as soon as the plate lifts and is pressed against the ceiling, it breaks, throwing some pieces of brick and stone around and almost hitting the woman who was there. The interior of the elevator was also destroyed, with the door bending instantly and becoming completely damaged. The damage was immense, and according to reports, the woman had to bear all the costs. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.